Hi guys, welcome once again to the Raj Kaul Podcast. I've got a fantastic guest lined up today, who I actually discovered on TikTok, and wow, I thought, man, the music is because I like my rock music. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. Maya, over to you. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Maya Lakhani, and I'm a British Indian independent alt rock artist.
Yeah, when I first heard of your music, you reminded me sort of like Linkin Park, sort of that kind of vibe.
Oh,
I
cool.
got, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I've not heard that before, so that's a nice
Did
one.
you know that the guitar riffs and stuff that you've got, like the
Yeah.
progression of it, it reminded me of sort of Linkin Park stuff. And
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I used to listen to them a lot when I was younger, so
maybe
there
there's a
might be
secret
some
influence.
some influences
Yeah,
seeping
especially the
through there.
progression of it. Especially the latest track, which I heard. I forgot the name of it now. I've got there's so much. Is it In the Sunset or
Drive into the sunset.
Driving to the Sunset? That's
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what actually that's the track I found on TikTok, because that's how you discover
Yeah.
music these days, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed, isn't it? Our music discovery in the last few years. So
Absolutely. But before we get there, as you know, this podcast is about musical excellence and just how you got. I just want to, because there's not much. Well, I try to find something about you on social media and stuff, about your background and stuff. I mean, we know you're a
mm.
British Indian, but don't know much more about you. So you want to start off, like, just tell us a bit about yourself, about your childhood and how you got into music.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've like always had a real passion for music. From like my first obsession was the Spice Girls when I was like 4, and I loved them so much, and I think it actually like got me into music. And then when I was around like 7 or 8, like I wrote my first song. And then I started my first band when I was 12.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, very School of Rock vibes. But yeah, we used to practice every Friday after school. And we wrote original songs and stuff. So that was like a really good introduction into like actual music making at quite a young age. And then I was in like various bands throughout my life, and then COVID happened. And I'd always like wanted to learn how to do solo rock music,
Mhm.
as a solo artist. And I always thought, oh, like I have to have a band, like I don't know how to do this
Mm.
completely on my own. And then COVID happened, and I was like, right, I'm never going to have this much time again in my life to learn how to do this. So I learned like how to like record and produce from my bedroom, basically. And I learned how to do like how to make a website and how to do like self-portrait photography for all the artwork and stuff. And um, I put out my first song in 2020 in lockdown, and it was called The Line. And it just started this really beautiful journey for me, because for me, the achievement alone was being able to do this and like proving to myself that I could do it. But then when I released it, like actually quite a lot of people heard it, and it got a lot of like radio play and press and things like that, which I just like it kind of it blew my mind. And so I was like, right, like wow, like, I've got something here. So
Hi guys, this is Raj Kaul. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you want to support the rest of my music, if you could go and check me out on Spotify, on Apple Music, and add my songs to your playlists if you like them. Thank you. याद तेरी जद आउंदी सोहणीए साह साडे रुक जांदे ने So, how did you sort of, because you play guitar, you
mm,
sing, are you formally trained, or was that just you just picked it up, and how did you manage to learn that? What
kind
was
like mostly self-taught, to be
Mhm.
honest. Like, and I think it's all been through like practice and things like that. For example, like when I was in my first band when I was a kid, like, and you know, practicing singing every week. When we would go and practice on Fridays, and then in other bands and things like that. So I've like I've never really been like formally
Mhm.
trained as such, but a lot of it's self-taught.
And the other thing is like I'm a I used to be part of a church worship team as well. So that when you're practicing on a regular, you also get the stage part of it right as well, which is a totally different ball game,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. Yeah, it is a very different thing, like being, making music in your bedroom versus like being on stage because, you know, you kind of have to like embody this character and like, people want to watch exciting things on
Yeah.
stage. So it is a whole different discipline.
Well,
It
I've
really is.
got to say your social media is great, and I love that you emphasize your British Asian rock, just so cool. I think it's
Yeah.
one of the coolest things. I was telling my wife about yourself, and I thought, how cool is she? And there's some,
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
and there's some bits what I've seen of you, like where you've got an Indian outfit on, you got a guitar and stuff. It's just
Yeah.
so cool.
I think so I played Glastonbury last year,
Yeah, I was telling
and
my wife that. Yeah.
something that was very important to me was like I was like I want to like represent my culture on that stage because like I know how much it would have meant to me like as a little girl seeing that. So I was like, I really wanted to do that. And like going forwards, it's something that I really want to incorporate into like my stage looks or musical style or, like photography and art and things like that, because I just think like representation is important.
So you're practicing singing and the performance side of it every week during practice. What was
Mm.
that band about? Was it like a girl band thing? Was it like a rock sort of thing?
Yeah, it was a girl rock band, basically.
That's so cool. At 12.
Um, yeah, 12 and like we kind of had it going for a good few years. It was like in the MySpace era. Um, so yeah, it was fun and it really did give me that like foundational sort of practice and knowledge about songwriting and making rock music and stuff like that. So it was definitely really important.
Who are your rock influences like, at that age?
That like my all-time favorite band is the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, awesome.
They're my favorite, and like they were kind of the band that got me into rock. And then I started listening to all different kind of things. Like I really love PJ Harvey. I think she's amazing. There's a band called Garbage that I love that are like, were really big in the 90s and still continue to be like huge. So, and I really like seeing women in rock, particularly
Absolutely, yeah.
because, it's just really cool. Like the guitar I play is like Joan Jett signature guitar. So, you know, it's nice to see more women in rock.
Absolutely, and it's nice to see um, British Indian women in rock. So,
Yeah,
yeah, awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah, not to overemphasize that. I don't mean that. It's just you've got yourself a real niche there.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think like I know that, if I was like 8 years old or whatever and I saw somebody that kind of represented me doing rock music, it
Mhm.
just would have like meant the world to me at that age.
Absolutely, yeah. I could show
Yeah.
my daughter.
Oh,
Yeah, she's only young. She's 2.5, but she's
yeah.
getting into music. But
Oh, that's
yeah.
sweet.
So, what about your guitar side? How did you learn that?
Hmm. So, like, I've been playing for quite a while, but I sort of never really considered myself to be a guitarist. I'd always say things like, "Oh yeah, I play guitar, but like just for songwriting," kind of thing. And then when like COVID happened, and I was like, right, I'm gonna make a song from scratch myself. I did this. I don't know if you've heard of Masterclass. It's like
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah. The
online
BBC one.
course thing.
Is that the
No, so it's I think there is one that's kind of similar that the BBC
yeah.
run, but it's another one where like they have all these kind of famous people that do like
I've
10
heard of it. Yeah,
lessons on,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And I did one by the guitarist called Tom Morello. I don't know if you know of him, but he's the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine, and he also has a lot of an Audio Slave, and he has solo stuff as well. And I was so inspired, like, by this masterclass because he really, kind of broke things down in a really inspirational way and was like, anyone can play as long as you can like do the basics, like you've got this. And it changed my outlook on playing, and I learned how to like solo and stuff like that through doing that. And it really it changed something in my mind about no, I am a guitarist.
Really? Because
So
I
it
always,
was
after you, sorry, I'm
no,
interrupting.
it was really inspirational. And if anybody's listening who like is learning guitar or kind of wants to play more, I definitely recommend doing that course.
Because I've been sort of trying to learn guitar. Some of my friends are really good guitarists, play with me. I've
Hmm.
got an Ibanez here. You see,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
Nice.
but I'm not very good at it because I think it's the lack of time as well. So
Yeah.
um, but that's really interesting that you found that course. I mean, I struggle with getting switching chords fast enough.
Yeah.
Really, really struggle. It's like
Yeah.
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 So
But I think it's like it's practice makes perfect.
yeah.
You know, just got to put that time in.
Absolutely, yeah. Just sitting
Yeah.
practicing that, yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay, so you've gone from your guitar, you've gone in lockdown, you released your first single.
Mm.
During lockdown, how did you learn the production side? Was it through YouTube or
Yeah, so I just was watching like online courses about how to use. So I use a software called Logic Pro
I use
on
that as well?
my yeah. So
Mhm.
I kind of learned. I'd had it for a while and I sort of knew how to use it, but there were certain intricacies and things that I just never got around to learning. And then I was like, no, I'm going to learn this properly. And I did this like 10 session online course on this website, and I think it was free actually. And I was like, right, okay, I have a better understanding of this now. So it was starting again in a way, and like, right, I'm gonna learn how to do this properly, learn how to do this properly, and then I'm gonna make a song.
So you've learned that back to your vocals and guitar,
Hmm.
because okay, when you're recording something, you've got to have a bit of knowledge in stuff about your keys and playing, even playing your guitar, like
Hmm.
the theory side. How did you learn that?
Oh, my theory's terrible,
Yeah, but you know a
honestly.
bit about it. You know your
I
keys and
mean,
stuff like that.
well,
Yeah.
I know how to write a song and play guitar, but like my theory knowledge is absolutely awful, and you don't have to like know how to like learn
No,
about, or you don't really have to know about theory to make a good song, to be honest.
absolutely. Yeah.
I think it does help probably if you have a better understanding of things, but I would say that it's not like 100% necessary. If anybody's listening and thinking like, I want to start learning how to make music and is really intimidated by this whole theory thing, like it's nice to have, but you don't need it.
Yeah, I think what I meant is that in terms of like because you produce the track, you've got to have some basis.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
I mean,
expecting to know.
I know how to like to play guitar chords, and I know
Yeah,
how to like I guess that knowledge of like theory is there of
because if you're singing,
knowing what
like
chords go together and things like that.
exactly, because if you're
Yeah.
singing, I've got to sing in this key and stuff. So
Yeah.
even something simple like that, that's what I mean. And
Yeah.
if you're not practicing that, it's going to be a challenge. Or
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just like the more you play and the more you sing, like it starts to come naturally.
yeah,
And
because
these ideas of theory kind of go out your mind because they're just like you're
it's
just in the flow of it.
getting the vibe. The reason why I ask these things because a lot of musicians I interview, I think they take it for granted how much
Hmm.
you actually know. And people, do you know what I mean? Like including myself, we can just go in. Okay, I'm going to sing. Yeah, give me the key. I'm singing here. But even that's a skill in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
It's
Yeah, but
do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I think we do like downplay things sometimes a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
But
that's a great skill. Like, not everyone can sing just if you give them a key. Not everyone can do that. So,
yeah,
does that come from your band practice?
I think so. I mean, I've always had like a real ear for music and singing and stuff like that. So I think there is like a certain element of like a natural ability with kind of singing and kind of knowing how to find the right key on things.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think the more you practice, the better you get at
Absolutely.
stuff. Even TikTok's quite handy. Like, I do my vocal warm-ups on there because there's so many amazing creators that post like warm-ups, and it's so helpful just to like be able to hit certain notes and stuff. So
Hi guys, this is Raj Kaul. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you want to support the rest of my music, if you could go and check me out on Spotify, on Apple Music, and add my songs to your playlists if you like them. Thank you. That's really interesting because I'm sort of my main thing is I'm a vocalist as well. So I was going to get into your vocal side. So what what do you do? What's your normal routine in maintaining your vocals and improving them? Or is there
yeah,
one? Or
so
isn't there one?
I mean, like I always before I have like rehearsals and shows, I always make sure to warm up my voice
Mhm.
because it really does make all the difference. And I have so I used to like have singing lessons like last year. I had like five or six, I think, and I we recorded like a um vocal warm up on my phone. So I use that, and then there's some like as I mentioned, there's some really good ones on TikTok as well, where like short, like little ones, like 60 seconds, but it really like it does help to open up your voice.
Absolutely, yeah,
So yeah, and like drink lots of water, not really cold water as well, kind of, room temperature.
yeah. I don't like cold,
Yeah.
very room temperature water.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really interesting. So, um, in terms of your latest track,
Mm,
what was the process involved in that? Like, and because um, I found in there, even your vocals, they were so expressive.
mm.
There was a lot of expression and a lot of emotion in your vocals. So, how did you get to that part in terms of vocals and the track itself?
I think with that one, like because I obviously record and produce myself, there was about 100 different vocal takes of
Really?
of that. Yeah, I went way overboard. Like, I'm not doing that many again, but I think that's where like self-producing has its challenges
Mhm.
because for example, if you're working with a producer, they'd be like, that was a great take, keep
Yeah.
that one. Whereas like I think as musicians we tend to be quite self-critical.
Mhm.
So it was like, oh no, I can do better. I can do better. And I had by the end of it, I had like 100 different vocal takes to go through, and I was like, oh no, why have I done this to myself? There's
Really?
so much, there's too much choice here. But I think I did whittle it down, and yeah, I'm really happy with how the vocals sound on
Oh, they
that
were
song.
fantastic, to be fair. Honestly, they were
Thank
fantastic.
you.
They really stood out. It's interesting because what I started doing with my vocals is, just like to know your perspective on this, is I do one take, right? And then where I
Mm,
see any bits need to improve, I'll write over it.
yeah,
I record straight
yeah.
over it. So the
Okay, so
take's
it's
gone.
so it's gone.
Yeah, it's
Mm,
tough. If I listen to it, the one take and then think, right,
yeah,
maybe do that bit. And then that's another way to do it, isn't it? Because it just limits
yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
I'm not saying it's better in any way, but
That's a good idea though, because yeah, sometimes when there's too much choice,
yeah,
and also when you go into that recording mode, like you do change how you sing.
yeah,
And sometimes I'm like, oh, the demo, like the vocal from the demo was quite nice because I was just like in the zone and not like
yeah,
worrying about it. So,
yeah.
but it's fun.
Yeah, because I record at home as well. I used to record,
Yeah.
but I started to, like yourself. record at home. Okay, so going forward, what's next for yourself, Maya?
So I'm basically in the process of making my first EP this year.
Mhm.
So I've like got some songs coming out soon, and I'll kind of waterfall release them every couple of months. But yeah, that's kind of the plan for this year, and I want to do lots of live shows as well, hoping to do some festivals again. So that's kind of the focus this year.
Are you performing in Birmingham at any point?
I mean, I'd love to, because it's funny, like I've only ever performed in London and Glastonbury. That's like the two places
Yeah.
I perform. So I'd love to do like different parts of the UK. And I think TikTok has actually been really amazing because I've reached like so many people from different places around the world, but also in the UK. So it's like it's nice to start like building that fan base in different parts of the country.
How was Glastonbury?
Oh, it was like one of my biggest dreams was playing that festival. So it was incredible. Like it was amazing, and it there's just something very, very special about Glastonbury because I've been like I think like 4 times myself. So like playing there was unreal. And I remember like standing on the stage and I could see like in the distance, I could see like the top of the pyramid stage. And I was just like, oh yeah, one day I'll be playing that one.
Wow.
So yeah, it was like a real like life moment, I think,
What was the
Glastonbury
response
for
like?
me.
What was the response like from the crowd at that point?
Yeah, it was great. It was really great. And like I got some really amazing opportunities out of playing Glastonbury. Like I was on the, BBC News like 2 days after doing that, and like there was so much like press coverage and things like that, and having the performance filmed professionally by the BBC as well was a really, unique opportunity. So I'm very thankful to have done that. And I want to go back there
That's
and
that's
play it all again.
yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, where can where can the listeners follow you on Instagram and check you out? And
Yeah, so I'm on all of the platforms as Maya Lakhani underscore. So I'll spell that as MayaLakhani underscore on everything. And then I also have like a mailing list and stuff on my website, and I always send out new stuff to my mailing list subscribers first. So if you're interested, sign up.
fantastic. Make sure you follow Maya, guys. Uh,
Yeah.
one last question. I normally finish off with um, what does musical excellence mean to you, and how what
Oh,
advice would you give to any up and coming musicians
I
in regards
think,
to that?
yeah, I think in terms of advice, I would say like just start doing things because like before I started producing my own stuff in my bedroom, the first thing that I did was I started putting out covers on YouTube. And that was like quite a big thing for me because I was always worried about, oh, like what about the comments and what if people don't like it? And but once you start putting things out, you're like, oh, actually, this is great and people are liking it and it's upping your own confidence. And then the next thing was like, I'm going to make a song and release it myself. And then the next thing was like, I'm going to do more and I'm going to play shows. So like just start, and like each hurdle that you cross, like things start to become easier,
Absolutely,
and it
yeah,
becomes less of a like a mountain, if you know what I mean.
yeah, absolutely. Um,
And then in terms of like musical excellence, I think like I believe that like if you love what you're making, that is the most important thing, and that in itself is excellence. You know, as long as you love it, that's the main thing. And then if you put it out into the world and other people love it too, that's the cherry on the cake. That's kind of what I believe.
Absolutely, that's
Because you have to like do things for yourself first. Because it's an art form, and you want to be happy with it.
I was talking to someone the other day, and DJ Swami. I don't know whether you've heard of him,
Mm.
and he was just saying that his his he had to find a way to motivate himself to do his music because it became a proper job.
Yeah.
You know, when it's so
Yeah.
easy to lose that
Because it
passion when
wasn't
you
just
get.
the passion project anymore. It was
No,
like,
exactly, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's very
yeah.
interesting you say that, and so he had to do that. He was just talking about his guitar. He was saying before I used to really look at clean my guitar every time I use it, and now he
Yeah.
just cleans it whenever he can, sort of thing. Just little thing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to that.
That's
So Maya,
funny.
thank you so much for coming on, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Honestly, I'm a big fan of your music. I was saying to my wife as soon as I heard your music, I was thinking, oh, check her out. And then on top of that, you being a British Indian like myself was great.
Yeah.
But not that not that that reflects anything on your music, because even if you wasn't,
Yeah.
your music's that good anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
but it's a cherry on top. Yeah, for me. So thank you so much, guys. If you like what you hear and see, and if you leave a review on YouTube or Spotify and Apple and Catch, and make sure you follow Maya as well. So that's all for us today. And Maya, stay on because I'm just going to hit the stop button for the end of the recording, and we'll chat offline. So God bless you all. Thank you.
Perfect. But thank you so much for having me on the show. I've really enjoyed talking
Brilliant.
with you.